Hey, it's Wednesday, guys. Hope everyone's doing well out there. It's the middle of the week. Normally, right now, I would be doing a coffee and questions, and this is kind of a, although I don't have my coffee, this is kind of a question thing that I get a lot of, and I'm going to do a demo to show you guys exactly why I do what I do. For this specific reason. So here's what I want you to do first. This is going to be in several segments, but I don't think it's going to be really long. I think it'll go pretty fast. So I want you to look at these two examples here. This is just two examples of the background. I cut this background with my 90-degree bit, and I'm going to do that here in a second. So this is going to
bring that corner forward, kind of cattywampus it. No,
oh, this way? Go.
Yeah, maybe that one.
So I'm going to show you, number one, this is going to be kind of an example of how I do this background, which I have people ask all the time. But that's not really the focus of why I'm doing this. If you look at this as compared to this, and I'm not sure it's going to show up on the camera, but trust me, if you can't see the difference, one of them has kind of a dull look to it, whereas the other one looks much sharper. And I'm going to do this demo to show you exactly why that is.
Can you point out which is which? So
this one is the dull. This one is the sharper looking one. This one looks a little blacker than this one does. I just did this, a few minutes ago. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this exact same experiment here on the demo. I don't even need my. I think I can see the board good enough with just my glasses. I'm so used to using those cheaters. So I'm just going to do a little background here, guys. Hang with me. And I forgot to say, we talked about showing the 90-degree bit. I forgot to say, I'm using the 90-degree V-groove here, guys. So this is the one.
There you go.
This is the one with the two flutes on it. This is the one that I use for my background. So that's the 90-degree bit. All right, so now what I'm going to do, oh, there's my brush over there. I'm going to brush this real quick. So that, number one, that gives you a kind of a sample of how I do my background. You can see it's just indeterminate little circles here and there. So now what I'm going to do, are you with me?
I'm trying.
I'm just going to spray these carefully. I'm using my Marsh ink.
There you go.
The Marsh ink here, stencil ink. But it wouldn't really matter if I'm using the Marsh stencil ink or I'm using the primer. The Rust-Oleum primer. So you're actually going over a lot of things here. We're going to let this dry and we're going to come back and sand it off. Alright, so we've got our little test piece. We've got it all dry now. I'm going to go ahead and sand it off. I'm just going to sand with the grain, with the rough belt. That's all I need to do for this demo. So here we go. See that? Cut the cord on that little thing right there. No harm, no foul. All right, so now, here is the deal, guys. I'm at this process right now. Now what I'm going to do, and this is going to look kind of goofy, but you guys have asked, why don't I vacuum up, use a vacuum on this rather than blowing? I'm going to show you why. So, obviously, this is off of our... Bless you. This is off of our Dyson vacuum, and it's kind of a hokey little thing. I've duct taped it on there, but hey, that's the way I roll. So here's what I've got, my little shop vac thing. this is what I use. I've got this hooked up as a vacuum right now, and I'm going to vacuum that first spot there. Here we go. Now I'm going to switch it over to a blower. So, I don't know, again, I'm not sure it's coming up on the camera, but I can tell you that Vicki and I'm looking at this, and this one is definitely duller than this one. Again, I don't know whether it's coming up on the camera. And this is something that Dad taught me, gosh, 40 years ago. What happens is, this is our theory behind it. What happens is when the sawdust is down in there and this brush hits that sawdust microscopically, or beyond the naked eye, it actually kind of scratches the sawdust in there, kind of scratches that black background, and it kind of dulls it. And so that is the reason that I don't use a vacuum, that I always blow it off. And the other, this is an example of why after I get a sign done, I never try and put my hands on the surface of the sign because of body oils, anything. I don't want any marks on it. But that is kind of a demo on why I don't use a vacuum with the brush. The other issue is if you don't have the brush and you have just the end of it. I don't even know if this will come off, but if you have just the end, if you have just the end and you're using a vacuum, then in order to get down in there, you got to rub this on the surface of the sign sometimes, and then it'll mark it up. I don't like that either. So I hope that kind of answers that question, guys, because I get that quite a bit. We're going to, I'm going to tear this setup down. We'll come back and do sign carvers of the day. All right, guys, well, that's the demo. I hope that that kind of answers that question. So we went over, actually, there was a lot packed in that little demo. First of all, the 90 degree, I showed you that, and then because people ask and they kind of get confused between the 60 and the 90. 60s for inset letters, 90s for outset, background. And then kind of showed you my technique for doing my standard background. I get a lot of questions on that. So I actually answered quite a few questions. And then the big one that I've never done a demo on, which is why I use the blower rather than the vacuum to get rid of that sawdust. All right, sign carvers of the day. Let's rock this thing. Marissa, and this could be either Marissa or it could be Seth. Their very first sign. I'm not sure, because the email came from Marissa, but
wow.
Yeah, that middle one. Now, so at this point, they didn't have, either Marissa or Seth didn't have my any of our router bits. They did all this with an 1/8 inch straight bit. Now the middle piece is painted, but the top piece and the bottom piece are actually routed, and they used an 1/8 inch straight to do it. That's really good for your very first sign. Really good. Very impressive. Terrific job, you guys. Marissa or Seth, I'm not sure. Maybe both of them. Michael, second sign ever in cedar. It's his second sign ever, and it just happens to be out of cedar. So this is for his nephew. He's 13 years old. And his daughter, Michael's daughter, drew the fishing rod so he could have the fishing rod in there. Great job, you guys. Terrific looking signs for just starting out. That's amazing. Okay, so Friday we're going to have another demo, something brand new. And I won't get into it now because I've still got a little bit of work to do on it. But that'll be on Friday. And then we're going into the weekend from that point. And we got some exciting stuff coming up that I hope I can announce next week. And then a week from Saturday is our LTS. So the last one went real well. We're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping that this one goes well too. So anyway, guys, hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Email me questions. Why did I feel like my throat's kind of a little scratchy? The weather's turning out here. I think I sucked down some sawdust or something. Anyway, email me questions to eric@makeawoodsign.com or vicky@vickiewithdavesigns@gmail.com. What else? Like this if you liked it. Share it. I guess that's about it for now, guys. Everybody keep... I know one thing that I wrote down earlier. Don't forget, guys, gosh, we're going into October here pretty quick. You should be really hammering your Christmas stuff right now. Really get those, if they're stock signs, if they're custom signs with Christmas stuff. Now is the time to really push for the Christmas stuff, because there's women out there already starting to shop for Christmas. So really, you want to really ramp it up right now, because Christmas will be your busiest time of year. And the ladies are out there already Christmas shopping. Us guys, we don't start till about December 20, something like that. But the ladies are out there, and they're the ones with the money. So now is the time to really ramp up your Christmas stuff. Whether it's posts on Facebook or however you're going to market, get those Christmas stuff, get it out there right away. Anyway, guys, hope that helps. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.